Wiz,
Yo.
I want to remind you of a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
There was a time when in the city there was three places to cut dubs. There was Lacquer Channel,
Yes.
Sniper, and
Correct.
Collybud. And Collybud. Remember Collybud?
I remember Carly, but his
Okay.
house down there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Down there. Yeah.
What did you ever do with your Dominique dub?
Yeah. Why you have to tell everybody I nominated?
Sorry.
Why you
Sorry,
have to
sorry,
tell
sorry,
them?
sorry, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, do you remember when we cut and I got that?
Yeah.
I messed up. I put it on a bad, but I have it. So
Yeah.
it was like, all right, cool. Here you go. You remember when I messed up and I put it on this, but it is what it is.
Okay.
We're thinking, we're cooking, but they're not blinking, it's what we're thinking. We're going to kill them like Mr. DJ. Draw near, Dominic is here, nicely up the atmosphere. Do I make myself clear? Heh, all the vibes machine come clean. Mr. Wiz with the beers. Run with him. One.
Yo, I can't. Yo, but I felt like I was a superstar.
Guy, when you got the Dominique dub, I was like, yo, the guy got the Dominique dub, man. I was like, what?
I felt like I was a
We sit down
superstar.
with Favorite Boy John. I was like, listen, that is my favorite song on that rhythm, man.
Listen,
Favorite song on that rhythm.
the
Can't play it
reason
now,
I
though,
didn't
but
cut it,
yeah.
the reason I didn't cut it on the rhythm,
Yeah.
because at the time we were on the radio and we were like playing uppity. So I put it on one of them uppity rhythms, not knowing the history of it, because at those times we never think so. But because I was playing most of the dances you and I were playing, they were corporate events, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we got to get this uppity, and I put it on. Messed up. I feel like I messed up, but I don't care. I have it. Right?
No, you got listen. You got Dominique on dub. Like there's some artists that I have on dub that I'm just again, as I said, I don't have a lot of dubs. I just have those dubs.
Yeah, the vital ones. I remember because we used to put the vital.
I've had to like go to Jamaica and like all I'm gonna say is this. I've had to go to Jamaica, fly to Tinson Pen, and then go to Stony Hill. There's a certain artist that lives in Stony Hill, right? I played checkers in the backyard with him and Maxi Priest, right?
Yeah.
And he has a house over his pool. It's yellow. It's called Harmony House. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it right there. You should know who that person is right there. When I say Harmony House, you know who
when they play ballads, don't say nothing.
You want to hear another joke that I found out recently and I didn't know this, and I love the song. Declaration of Rights is done by the Abyssinians, right?
Yeah.
My uncle sang on that record. And Rita Marley used to live in my grandmother's yard in Greenwich.
You're loaded. You're supposed to be loaded. You're supposed to be loaded, bro.
Back then, I didn't know.
But you didn't care. You cared zero.
I was like 6, 7 years old, and I saw 3 Rastaman playing soccer with my Uncle Earl, not knowing that that's Bob, Peter, and Bunny. Had no idea. Not a picture, nothing. Have no idea.
Yo, I would be in utter shock when you played dub, because you never liked no dub. You were the remix, and that's what you love to do. You were the dub master. You were not.
I didn't know. Did not like dubs. Did not like dubs at all.
Let me tell everybody around the world, Juiceman Jonathan Shaw did not like dub plates. I used to play them on the radio because I felt like it was a signature thing that I had. And that's how the Dominic became in effect, because of the radio. When we were on the radio, and I was like, I have to keep everything up tempo. That's how I messed up.
But here's the funny thing though. One of the good things about life is that I lived close to the airport. And a lot of the promoters knew that I lived close to the airport. So usually what they would do is
You pick up the artist.
they would drop, the artist would come by my house in Malton.
Oh.
And they would run, you know, and basically they'd come by, you know, hold that juice, whatever we hold it, you know, just, you know, talk, you know, reason, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And they would do drops. And the drops then became, they're like, yo, you don't want a dub? I'm like, okay. And then they would just do the dub.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started getting dub plates. It was just that, guys, I would start interviewing the artists. And the artists would just do the special live, and I would just record it. So there's a couple of artists that, yeah, like,
yo, do you remember?
People don't know that I have certain artists on dubs, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Just don't worry about that. You know, that's okay.
I was saying, I've always said on the live, back in the days when we had oh man, Sam the Record Man downtown.
Correct.
The artists them would come and they would you know, they would
do the autograph signing.
Do the autograph session.
Correct.
So being on the radio back then, that's when I went down and I used to stand in line with the little microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling them, I have Jay-Z, I have Nas, I have Da Brat. When Da Brat,
don't you remember that? Okay, you were there. You're the only person who did not Da Brat invite us to our hotel room. Just please tell the world that. Thank you.
I said it.
Stop it. Okay, I've been saying, listen, you're the only person who can verify that story, right? Okay.
She was like, yo, come chill and hang out with us. And
thank you.
And
okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, enough said. You know how many people don't believe, you know many people say to me, you know, hey, Johnson, no, man, she wasn't into dudes. She wasn't into dudes. I was like, okay, you believe what you want to believe. Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said.
She came down and she was functified.
Thank you. Leave it alone. Okay.
Functified.
All right. Good.
She came down and remember, I got it and I got it on I believe it was Hot Wax. I tried and she was like, what's this? And I was like, yo, just sing Functified for me. Just say DJ Wiz is so functified, and blah, blah, blah. Juice, I lost the cassette.
Oh,
I'm just putting it on.
I have it on like one of those mini cassette things somewhere, right? But she said she didn't say CHRY, she said KHRY, so I couldn't use it because she sure used it, so I couldn't use it either. But I mean, yeah. But don't you remember she said Juice and Wiz, you'll never beat another tandem like this. Yeah, Juice and Wiz, you'll never beat another tandem like this. I
said we had Nas,
yeah,
Jay-Z,
correct,
and I know Da Brat. Those three for sure.
Da Brat didn't even want to stop doing stuff. Da Brat was like,
no,
Da Brat was cool.
Mad cool. Da Brat is mad cool. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yo, I feel like if she met us again, she'd remember.
Nobody believes me with that story. No, every time I say Da Brat, they're like, no.
And she was like, yo, come hang out, man. Come hang out. Were you playing at a dance? Like she was.
No, she was at the government. She was at the government. A lot of guys came down to see her at the government. She wasn't even performing.
At the government.
She was at the government. Yeah.
Okay.
And she says, she's like, you guys want to come to the hotel room tomorrow?
Yeah. And we're like,
okay.
Sure. Why not? I don't know. I didn't end up going.
Okay. I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm not leaving that one alone. Leave it alone. I'll leave that one alone. Okay. I'll leave that alone. Leave that alone.
So listen, let's go back to my original question. Quickly to our original question. Is there a movement for reggae in the, let's forget about what was. What was has been a difficult, I think it's been a difficult climb. I'm truly blessed to be, I was put into your hands, passed on to, you know, when Danae took it and thing. And I mean, the people them that we thought were friends, some of us thought were friends, they weren't. I'm just putting it out there. It's just, it is,
but
it is what it is.
let me answer the question because for me, I'm all about positivity. I'm not into the negative things. So
Right.
the reggae music industry, as it stands right now, is very divided. There's a lot of different silos. There was a time where you had, the penthouses and the Jermaines doing his things and the digital bees and whatever, but then majority of everything right now is always distributed through VP Records. So VP Records used to do the thing with EMI and that sort of thing, whatever, blah blah blah. And then every now and again, a reggae artist. I mean, the first kind of reggae artist besides Bob to really bust out of Jamaica, and I'm not talking even a Jimmy Cliff. I'm talking Yellowman. Yellowman was the first one who signed with CBS Records, but they never let Yellowman do Yellowman. They never let Supercat do Supercat. They didn't really even let Beanie do Beanie. You know what I mean? It wasn't really until like Sean Paul came along where Sean Paul kind of did it in a totally different way because they were ready for that sort of stuff. So a lot of times reggae artists sign contracts with the major labels, not realizing. I mean, sorry, I even forgot Shabba. Shabba, they kind of changed him up as well too. I mean, yes, they had a couple of hits. Even Elephant Man had his 1 and 2, but they never really allowed the artists to do the artist stuff. They never, like the artist bus doing Jamaica, but you now want them to do America, right?
Yes.
And
Half
it's
of the
kind of it's kind yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that Little John was the one who did all the remixes for Capleton on tour. The hip hop mix of tour, that's Little John. And all those artists, I mean, all those artists that came out of that, let's say that tree, it's like they wanted them to do the American hip hop thing without really making them. They wanted to turn everybody into more like a Mad Lion than just allowing them to just do the stuff. So okay, that was what is. However, when I look at the reggae music scene, and I'm just going to talk about Canada, for example, there's only maybe 4 places in the country where reggae music is really big: Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, and PEI, Newfoundland area. Those are the real big areas outside of that. And they don't even want to call dancehall. They want to call it tropical house, brethren. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They don't really want to embrace the whole world called reggae. They don't want to use reggae because reggae is ghetto. Reggae is reality. Reggae is reality. Reggae reggae is a consciousness. Reggae is a movement.
It's a voice of a people. It's a voice of a people.
Reggae is a movement. There's been many documentaries that have been put out about reggae music. How when Bob would come out with his albums, and they would take them to the continent of Africa. Any country, like in South Africa, they would basically take a nail and X out the tracks on that album so that they couldn't be played, so that the people would hear the war, the songs about uprising and all these things. They banned uprising. They banned certain albums so that the people wouldn't hear this music. And the issue when it comes to reggae music as a whole is reggae music is Jamaican music. And it comes from Jamaica. And it has a pulse. It has an energy. There's a reason why it's played on the downbeat, right? It's not bang, 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 bang. It's you know what I mean? And that's how the music is generated. It's on the 2 as opposed to whatever, it's on the down. And the music as a whole, the distribution of that reggae music, you have VP and you have Jetstar. And reggae music will never be mainstream because that's not the essence of reggae music. When reggae music goes mainstream, it don't sound like reggae no more. Even when you have people doing quote unquote the tropical house, they're not even trying to use the artist to do a feature. They're trying to do a sample. Yeah, you have the popcorns, you have the Beanie Mans who are doing stuff, whatever the case would be. You have people doing little fill here and there, whatever. But the only people who they recognize in the Grammys is if your last name ain't Marley, you ain't winning a Grammy. Period. Check if I'm wrong.
Oh, Coffee won, didn't she?
I do believe she did, but check how many times Marley has won.
Yeah. Well, it helps that is it Ziggy? His wife is part of the committee. I don't know. That's what they say from the outside looking in. But what do I know?
Okay. I have been on the Juno selection committee many times for reggae music in this country. So that means I'm selecting the music that then becomes, what people are going to vote on. And I'm seeing what gets submitted and call it reggae music. Reggae music isn't even a category. It's called a craft category. So theoretically, you don't even have to sell any units. You just have to submit a song and it gets voted on. And that's not necessarily good for the industry. One of the things that needs to happen for reggae music to be viable in this country more than anything else is you need to have the infrastructure where it actually gets to the people. It has to have a distribution unlike any other. There has to be stations that are willing to play it. And I mean, if you've been to different parts of this country, you'll realize that it's outside of Toronto, brethren, and Montreal and Calgary and Edmonton.
Weak.
There's no real representation. I mean, I went up to places like Wawa, Ontario. And Wawa, Ontario is like the mid part of the Trans-Canada Highway. And I remember seeing a sign that said, Subway, 5 kilometers. And I remember I went to go look for restaurants, and they rated Tim Hortons as a 5-star restaurant in Wawa. Real talk. Everybody up there looked like Duck Dynasty, Bridget. Everybody up there looked like Duck Dynasty.
We have the breakfast.
Seriously, huh?
We have the breakfast.
I've never eaten that. Listen, I don't think I've ever eaten that much Tim Hortons in my life than when I was up there. I was up there for 2 days, and I took a picture in front of the Wawa Goose. There's a goose up there, right? It's a Wawa. It's called Wawa Goose, and I'm telling you, I was the only black person in the whole city of 7,300 people. There was 4,500 registered voters at the time.
Yeah.
And I was up there for the provincial election. I also was in a place called Woodstock. And the hilarious thing about being in Woodstock, Ontario, was the movie Get Out just had come out.
Right.
And I will honestly say, the people that were friendly to the point where like, Jonathan, you want a tea? No, I'm not drinking tea, boss. No, the tea. And I checked into the hotel that night. I wish I was making this up. I checked into the hotel that night.
Yeah.
And why was there a power outage? Breads.
Yo.
Breads. Honest to God, I'll even show you the text. I think I still have the text message. I had a text message, and I said this to my friends. I said, look, if you don't hear from me by 8:01 in the morning, send the National Guard, send whoever to come get me, because they're listen. I felt like my granduncles who used to have to go down to Kensington Market to go look for black people because there was none. I saw one biracial child at the McDonald's. I went to Walmart. I was like, okay, where are the black people? Where the black people at? There's none. I was doing voting. So all the people who came, whatever. But I found out something, and this is the thing about Canada that people don't realize. Canada is not Toronto. Canada is not Montreal. Canada is about folk music. Canada is about a whole vibe that we don't know. Until somebody comes out with music, reggae music, that speaks to those people, reggae music will not be viable in that instance. And all reggae music has to be is reality music. As long as it speaks to one's reality, people will buy it. Folk music speaks to the reality of the people who live in that area. Reggae music has been folk music. One of the wickedest songs that I ever heard, that I honestly thought would probably be, I mean, you know that my favorite, I mean, you were the first one to put me onto this world, so I'll give you props for it. It was to that woman, sorry, I don't want to say girl, was Tanny Stevens with Big Ninja Bike. That was like my favorite song, right?
Yeah.
You were the first one to play it. I said, yo, play the Big Ninja Bike song. That's my song. But she came out with the song, What a Day. What a Day was like, for me, was like Untold Stories, was like Redemption Song, was like, it was the most reality tune song that I'd heard in a long time. And it was like a Tracy Chapman type of vibe.
Right.
And if I was the A&R person at that time, or if I was a representative of that person, if that song had played, if they had put a video of that song out and really promoted that song with the dollars that it takes, that's another thing too. The money it takes to promote music.
Yeah.
That song would have really taken off and taken reggae in a totally different arena. But there's not that type of music coming out right now. There's not that reality music coming out. I mean, yeah, okay, you can have the dancehall and whatever the case may be. The dancehall that I knew don't sound like dancehall no more. Dancehall sounds a lot like soca. Soca sounds more like reggae than it does soca now. And music has that vibe. Like reggae music to me has that pulse. It has that energy. It has that grit to it. People get vexed and they say how, like, Reggae Lane, which is the only place in the world, was the first place in the world that was actually dedicated to reggae outside of Jamaica. And people say, well, there's crack people there and whatever. That's what reggae is. Reggae is a ghetto music. That's where it started. You know what I mean?
It's a voice of the ghetto.
It's a voice of the ghetto, right? And I'm not saying, and the hilarious part about it too is people come from all over the world and take a picture of Reggae Lane that don't look like us. There's been movies, Bridget. There's been movies that have been filmed on Reggae Lane that has a reggae stuff in the background of it. The same way I went down to Graffiti Alley and taken pictures is the same way other people go and take pictures of Reggae Lane because it has reggae things there.
Right.
And the problem again is we don't buy the music. The reason why Bob was put front and center of the Wailers is because Bob was more appealing to the eyes at that time. The best singer in that group, as we all know, right, was Peter. Peter was a better singer of them. The writer of that group was Bunny. Bunny wrote the Electric Slide. All of the majority of the songs that were written in the Wailers' time, all they did was just remix it for more Bob. Bob was great. Don't get me wrong. Bob was a visionary. Bob saw the big picture, whereas Peter and Bunny didn't. Peter and Bunny looked at it and said, no, we are reggae artists. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. We want our money. You have to give us our money. Bob saw the bigger vision of it. Bob saw that if I do this, I will be this person, whatever. He had the vision to see to the end. He thought about, now think about this. He has headphones. He has coffee. He has hot sauce. He has pictures. He has this. Anything that says Marley on it, everybody wants it. It's a household word. There's not another reggae artist like that. That is very true. Peter and Bunny always used to say they don't like to go on the Iron Bird. That was their number one thing. Yeah. That's a very true story. They did not want to go on the Iron Bird.
Yeah.
They said that. But at the end of the day, right? The Rolling Stones tried to pick up Peter and couldn't work with it.
See,
You know what I mean?
that. Yeah.
Like there's so much history behind. There's a lot of things. Think about the era of Gregory Isaacs and Dennis Brown. Think about what happened at that concert when they came to Toronto. That changed the way concerts in Toronto were always done.
Yeah.
You remember that concert. You remember
Yeah.
that concert, right?
Yeah.
Think about this. Dickie Rankin and as you know him, Beanie Man used to live in Jane and Finch. Dickie Rankin's my cousin, otherwise known as Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
Right? They couldn't make it
Yeah.
here. They had to go back.
To go back. Yeah.
Leroy was here. Huh?
Shabba,
Capleton. All of them was here. Johnny Osborne was here. Johnny Osborne was here. They all were here. You know what I mean? Leroy Sibbles was here. Had to go back. Why? Because the Toronto and the Canadian landscape is only so big.
Yeah.
It's only so big.
Do you know how much people don't know Junior from Elite Squad? That's Johnny Osborne's son.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know Elite Squad is, and they play hip hop. They're not even about reggae. They're hip hop.
A lot of people don't understand that the biggest distribution that Wu-Tang Clan got was off of a reggae label when they first started, because of Father.
Wow.
Reggae music has somebody saying Chester Miller and all these things, whatever. There's been reggae in Toronto, but it hasn't
capitalized.
It hasn't broken through because the people who are doing reggae, people were upset with. I mean, was that reggae group that had, was a song called Magic? It was like a no, there was a song that came out about 2 years ago, but like kind of like a reggae group out of Canada, and it was very Willie Williams is here too, but there's Scatolites, all those groups, Messenger, have been here for years and years and years and years and haven't really bust out like the way they're supposed to. You know what I mean? Magic came out with that song and people were vexed with them. How come they had this song? The guy who sang that song, Duppy Gunman, used to live here too. You know what I mean?
Ernie Smith.
Ernie Smith was here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists that live here in Canada who, I mean, even another one too. To the end of time.
Leroy Gibbons.
Leroy Gibbons lives here as well too, right? Anthony Malvo lives here as well. There's so many artists who have been here, who've been here for a minute, who went back, but they can't. Yeah, Leroy Gibbons has been here. There's a lot of people who've been here in Canada who they do small shows and whatever, but have never gotten that.
The major capitalization of being a reggae artist from Canada has a stigma on you. I'm going to tell you from
correct.
It has,
but the thing is, think about it this way: you have a lot of reggae artists who Nana's here too. There's a lot of Canadian reggae artists that are here, but the pulse of reggae music always comes from Yad. And for them to do stuff, to get that props, they have to go back to Yad to do their thing. And that distribution, that energy, the money that it takes to promote that artist here doesn't, whatever. People saying Carla Marshall was signed to a major label as well too. And can't bust. Like, I shouldn't say can't bust, but couldn't break that ceiling.
No.
Right? And I mean, all it takes is one. I mean, the funny thing about it, I mean, Julian King and I have this conversation all the time. Reggae was here. Reggae was way here. People didn't want to hear hip hop. Remember the days? I remember going to Ottawa and putting up flyers to do like a hip hop dance. And these roots man came in and like, I don't want to hear no more of that hip hop music. We're like, okay, for the rest of the night, it was like zoom, 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 zoom. Reggae was here. You had the Bamboo, you had clubs, you had all these clubs who were playing reggae music. You had Network, you had Blue Note playing reggae music 24/7. Hip hop was like, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear hip hop. And hip hop left reggae in the dust. Left it in the dust, right? You have kids whose parents play reggae music from morning till night. And every one of those kids, what do they want to be? Oh, I rap, hip hop artist. You don't hear no kid saying, yeah, man, I want to be a reggae artist. Who says that? Who says that? Nobody says that. Because they don't see that infrastructure. They don't
Who's
see
that from?
a lot of it. And I'll say
Is it
this.
radio?
No. The one thing that I will say is this. Say what you want to say. Ron Nelson did a lot for hip hop in the city. Ron Nelson had a platform for artists to perform, for them to get on the radio, and for them to showcase themselves on a regular single basis, right? Say what you want to say. We had the Party Center. We had the Hungarian Hall. And we definitely had the concert hall. We had 2 floors of the concert hall, right? And they were able to perform in those places and do those different things. You had Word Magazine, who before they did the IRE Fest used to go down to the CNE and have different shows and whatever the case may be. The reggae shows that have been there, you know what, big up to, you know, Jones and Jones Productions for putting on the shows that they put on. But that it's been those those shows don't happen like, there's not that youngness, there's not the Rascals, there's not the Boogie Brats, there's not the Vision who then changed to Maestro, there's not the Mishi Me's, there's not, you know, the Cardinal Officials, there's not, like, I mean, the Brass Monks, the Ghetto Concepts, you know, like all those different, like I'm there's 1,000,001 hip hop groups that are out there. The Rumbling Strongs, that infrastructure. You know what I mean? There weren't, you know what I mean? Like I mean, yeah, you had Daniel and Lindo P going on Extendamix back in the day, but outside of that, there weren't a lot of reggae. I mean, they were doing hip hop. They weren't really doing reggae back then. There wasn't that love.
Lindo tried.
But I mean, but I'm just saying, no, but when they did the show though, they were doing more hip hop. But there hasn't been that reggae infrastructure. It's like reggae was the most taboo, don't want to touch it thing in the world. And there hasn't been that, there's not that spot in the city anymore. Once Bamboo died, that was it for reggae. That was it. There hasn't been that spot where week to week you can see a reggae artist, band, whatever. And another thing too, there's many different reggae bands in the city. There's many different reggae artists in the city. They're all trying to do their thing. They're all trying to do whatever. And I've said something to them from day one. I said, it's time for you guys to stop doing individual products and then come out with one label like Motown and then just throw them out like a factory. And you only put out the best stuff. If anybody who wants a history lesson on music, go down to, well, when it opens up again, go down to Detroit and go to Motown. Motown is a house, brethren. It's a house on a street right next to a funeral home. Right? My brother-in-law used to drive down to Detroit to go buy 45s. And Barry Gordy used to carry a gun on his side on payday because he knew somebody was going to try to rob him. And he'd had the 45s. And he ran it like an assembly line. And he used to, yeah, Hitsville, USA. With an $800 investment from his family, he put out Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, the Four Tops, the Temptations. You know what I mean? And the list goes on and 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 on, right? There is no Canadian reggae music label that is putting out hits after hits after hits after hits after hits. You know what I mean? Yes, enough reggae shows have in that concert hall, but where is the factory of people who were coming out there? Right? I've even asked some of the reggae entertainers to all get together and just do a Christmas album all together, or one album where you all guys come out and produce it and put all your energies behind this one project and get together and do a collaboration or something to make you all unified. And that's the thing. There's not, I mean, you know what I mean? Hey, you have like a Chelsea Stewart, you know, Karen's out there, you know, plugging her and doing her stuff, whatever. You have Steele, who's plugging out his CD. Chester Miller comes out with his stuff every now and again. You know, you have I know his real name, and I'm trying to remember his stage name right now. Why am I forgetting his name? Yeah. I was about to call him Wainford. Sorry, my bad. But
Esco.
Yeah, Esco has his stuff going on. I mean, he's won many a Junos. But even though Esco's has like what 5 Junos now, I think, and Blessed has like what 2.
And I think Blessed has 3.
Blessed has 3. Those artists, as much as I love them, as much as I love the stuff that they come out with, and they always come out with hits, it's like they're not getting the love that a hip hop artist would get. And Blessed, listen, when Blessed came out with, listen, real talk, if the management behind Blessed, Visionary is another wicked artist too. But when Blessed came out with Love,
yeah, it took over.
That song
should have went worldwide.
It did. But the problem is, when Blessed came out with that song Love, there was no plan as to how to market that song. There was no video done. There was no real thing done. That song really didn't get to vinyl or anything until it was featured on, first it was Master T put out a mix with Dave Campbell doing the remix on it. And then finally they had to remix that song because what the song originally came out, they used Bilal's Soul Sister and just flipped it. They just sampled the original of that song, whatever. You know what I mean? Distribution in this country has to be whatever. Like it took a while for that song to come out, and by the time that the song came out, there was no album, there was no anything for it, and one man, in the same way the radio station, as we talked about before, can't do everything that you're supposed to do. So you can't blame them. I'm not saying that they didn't do it. I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job. It's just that they didn't have the backative that you would need to make that song worldwide. They didn't have, that song wasn't in a movie like Coffee Song was in. Coffee Song was in Us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when, was it Us or yeah, one of those movies. I know it was one of the Jordan Peele movies. Yeah. But that song caught on and had worldwide distribution because there was a plan of action. When you have a local or independent, at that time, there was no real, the internet was still kind of a baby as far as music was concerned. And if that song, let's say, came out now, with the way you can stream and the way you can throw things out and you don't have to press no vinyl and rotate it, oh yeah, it would have blew up. But but again, because right now you don't really need that record label, but getting the word out, because keep in mind in the States,
marketing destroyed that song.
Marketing has to be there, right? Even with a radio station, and I said this as well too on another forum, you have to have outside marketing. You can't just advertise to who's listening to your radio station. Who cares? You've already converted them. It's like a church. Yeah, you have a congregation of 500 people, but if the minister actually went out to a nightclub and started handing out flyers, he probably might have some more people. You know what I mean? Because you have to kind of go outside of the box of what you're like. Canada is not, as I said, Canada doesn't understand reggae music. You can have, I do a morning show with Bob McGee and Kathy Sabokin. And there's a lot of things that I bring up to them that I'm thinking, yeah, man, you guys should know this. But I have to remember there's black people famous and there's world famous. If I said to you, name me 5 indigenous artists, can you do it?
No, I can't.
Exactly. And that's the problem. If I went to 5 white people and I said, name me 5 reggae artists, Canadian reggae artists, could they name me 5?
Probably not.
They could name the most people know as far as reggae music goes. They know the song, they just don't know the artist. They could probably give you
probably 2
Bob.
or 3.
They know Bob because again, the marketing isn't there. The marketing isn't there. Think about the best versus thing that was on this year. It was Beanie Man and Bounty. That was sick. But they didn't have the love that like Monica and Brandy had. They didn't have that love. They didn't have the love that even like you know, like the first
Rick Ross.
Yeah, they didn't have that. They didn't have that sort of stuff. So unfortunately, that's the way it is. The music industry and radio and all those other sort of stuff. There is, I mean, on Sirius XM there is a reggae station, and at the time and at nighttime they flip it. You have a boomstation.net, which is out of New York City. You have all these different things that reggae music is out there. I mean, reggae music scores very, very, you know, big, but in the United States of America, they don't know anything about reggae music. They don't get it. Like I think it's hilarious that Bob Marley, when he left Jamaica, went to Wilmington, Delaware. And
yeah.
I was in Delaware. And they don't know reggae music. They know Bob. They don't know reggae music. They don't play reggae music on the radio. They don't. It's not a part of their culture.
Well, I mean, Jamaicans and blacks did not bust Bob Marley. It was skinheads.
That's true. England.
That made Bob Marley the king.
Mm-hmm.
It was skinheads.
But remember, the original skinheads were black, right?
Okay. Yeah, if you say so.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Okay. I believe you.
But
I believe you.
There's so many, like, reggae music is a beautiful art. And I mean, people are on the live right now, and I'm looking at the thing and they're saying that, you know, music, you know, there's reggae music, whatever, but there's reggae music that came out in the 60s and the 70s, whatever. But right now, if I were to ask you, give me the top 10 reggae songs right now. Go for it.
Oh, shit. Nothing that you would play. Maybe you wouldn't even know.
Give me the top 10.
I'd give you Javalani, Intense, maybe some Popcorn. 10. 10's tough.
Okay.
That are commercial or just the underground.
Hear what you just said. Hear what you just said. You couldn't even. You're trying to qualify it now. You're trying to like. If you were to just say, give me.
I have to.
Okay. If you were to even say, give me the top 5 reggae artists out right now. Just top 5. I'll wait.
Jano. Again, you forced me in a situation. Are you asking for
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, give me top 5. You can give me 5 of the ones, whatever. But you see, here's what happens when it comes to music, right? We're just sitting here right now trying to see. So Psycho said is just naming off people. But what I'm saying is, these artists, when we think about music, they're not top of mind in that sense.
So here, I don't mean to cut you. Here's the problem. When the Wayne, don't let me embarrass you. when don't let me do it. When people ask that question, the problem is when you talk to somebody like, I'm on radio, is it 5 radio? Because radio and the dance hall and that culture, it's so separate.
No, but here's
because
here's
Cartel's the greatest. Cartel,
understood.
I would give you Cartel Bounty Beanie right away.
Okay.
But when's the last time Beanie had the number 1? When's the last time Bounty had the number 1?
Thank you. But here's that's my point. That's my point exactly. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go and you're going to make an infrastructure for reggae music, you better make sure that you know who the top 5 guys are when you're doing your marketing. Because if you don't look at these top 5, whatever, you know what I mean? Like every single record company, when they come out with projects and when they came out with the drop dates of when these artists are going to come out with stuff, they make sure that they know who these artists are. They know who this person's going to come out with an album this way. This is you have to make sure that you have a plan. And this is what happens. Everybody says, well, yeah, I'm going to put out a record. I'm going to do reggae music has always been. And this is something that actually, this is a true story. When Shabba came out with his album, Ting-a-ling wasn't on it. Ting-a-ling was not on it. He put out Ting-a-ling as a thing he just did.
Yo,
and the record company was
they
like,
were vibing to Trailer Load.
Yeah,
it was Trailer Load.
Yeah, but he put out Ting-a-ling. People are like, what are you doing? That's not the way music is supposed. And he's like, no, that's how reggae music has always been. Think about this. Simmer Down was recorded in the morning, pressed that afternoon, and was playing in the dance hall that night.
The night.
Music don't go like that no more. We don't do music like that no more. A man will listen. They've recorded and put out the movie that Jennifer Hudson did for Aretha Franklin has been filmed 2 years ago. That movie ain't coming out till January.
Again.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shabba is under contract. Shabba had all his music, and the record company's like saying, oh, no, we can't put out this. No, Ting-a-ling, what does this mean? I don't know, no, whatever. So he put it out anyway. And then the record company has you, right? Everybody signs a 360 deal, so you can't do anything. If you do a concert, they get money out of that because that's where all the money is. You don't make money off of streaming. You don't make money off this thing, whatever. And all these different things about music and all the other sort of stuff, you have to have a plan. The way you're marketed, the way you do different things. Jamaica does music their way and it works for Jamaica.
It works for Jamaica.
But it doesn't work for the United States. And it definitely won't work in Canada.
And this is what I've been saying. Juice, when these companies look at reggae artists for top, they're not looking for the name-calling ones. They're looking for the ones that sell.
Correct.
They're looking for the ones that, where are these financial numbers? I don't need to see this guy who is, his name's calling right now. How much has he sold over whatever?
That's all anybody cares about. Listen, here's what they do. Here's what they do. Record companies take a sack of crap and keep throwing it at the wall. And whatever one sticks, that's who they're going with.
All right, hold on now. I don't mean to cut you. Hold on. CLA, this person, Donamine Woman Power, says we don't need America. I wrong you there.
How do we not need America when America has 10 times the population of Canada?
I wrong you because if you do not have America, where is your finances coming from?
But here's what she's saying. Here's what's happening. Bob is still the #1 reggae artist in the world. Facts.
100%.
Facts.
Dead, gone,
and he's been dead from 1981.
And he's the leading seller.
And why does it feel that Bob dead like last week? Or better yet, it doesn't even feel like Bob dead because
it doesn't feel like he's dead.
If you go to Sangster's airport, you pass like 20 different stalls that have a Bob Marley something. As I said, you have the coffee, you have this, you have all these merchandise. I mean,
This is a problem.
Put it this way, I was in Jamaica when Chronix was tearing it up. I didn't see nothing from Chronix in the stores like that. I didn't see nothing from Beanie. It was all about Bob.
And you know what? I don't understand why people don't have a problem with this. This is a problem.
As I said,
like I don't think she understands what's going on.
At the end, listen, there was a time when if you went to go see AC/DC or Kiss or Whitesnake or Rat at Maple Leaf Gardens, you came to school the next day with the white T-shirt with the logo on the front of it of the artist you saw with the black sleeves. If you didn't have that shirt, you didn't go to the concert.
You didn't go to the concert.
You know,
there's no Beanie Man shirt. There's no Bounty shirt. There's nothing.
You. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Okay.
Not even a button.
So Bridget, now if this man is gonna go have a signing, what is he signing? What am I signing? Did you go out and buy the Bounty Killer CD? Do you have the Beanie CD? What do you do? Do you download? What are you gonna do? Tell him to sign your phone? You're gonna pick up your phone and say, okay, can you sign my phone now, please?
No, it's all Instagram pictures now. Instagram pictures.
That's the new autograph.
That's the new signature.
That's the new autograph. But that's my point, though. There's nothing to take with you to say, put this up on your wall and say, hey, I went to this concert. They don't do books. They don't do tour shoots. They don't do any of that sort of stuff. And this again goes into the aspect of marketing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
100. I'm totally understanding what you're saying because it's something that I tried to tell them. That
you know what I mean?
Because we hear one artist right now, we hear this artist this week. All of a sudden, he's in Toronto next week, and I tell people he's not ready to come here yet because you're putting on a show for 150 people when a real show is like 4,000, 5,000, or a movement.
Oh, I'm going to give you one that's going to blow your mind. You ready for this one? You ready for this one? Okay.
Okay.
You decide to bring an artist from Jamaica to Canada, right? Generally, if you're doing a concert, you're going to say, if it's let's say a mainstream artist, you're going to say Earth, Wind and Fire in Chicago are touring, and they're going to be at the ACC in March. Tickets go on sale November 1st. November 1st comes, 90% of the tickets are sold out for that concert. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Now, when it comes to, let's say, Buju gets to come to Toronto. Let's say he's coming to Toronto. And this is Buju Banter. Let's say Buju's coming. They could put out the fact that Buju Banton is coming March 1st. Nobody ain't buying a ticket for that concert until somebody at the airport takes out an Instagram picture of him passing customs.
It's trust.
You know
so we don't trust.
But even still, they're still not buying the ticket. They're gonna wait and buy the ticket at the door because they're afraid, say, that some sort of group is gonna come to the door and say, hey, he can't perform because he had song out with the boom bye bye back in 19 how long, Ray Tay Tay, blah 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 blah. This is how people view reggae music. You and I have seen Bounty, Beanie, and Buju in Rexdale.
100.
Huh?
100%.
We've seen them back in the day. We've seen those concerts, whatever. But again, you and I, when did we buy our tickets? We didn't. We got them and we went. The day of. We knew he was coming from 19 how long. So now think about you as a promoter of a concert. You have to front all that money.
It's what has changed. Hold
exactly.
on.
Yeah.
I got 18 seconds. You want to restart? We want to restart.
We'll go a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll go a little bit longer.
All right.
Okay.
All right.